Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, y'all know how I feel about American boxing, right? You know, I feel about his BTBG and all that stuff we talk about. We talk about the Negro Leagues and we've talked about some, but I've talked about Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn is a promoter from England who is much maligned especially from Americans. It's much maligned because he tries to get into the American market and do things in America, and he's got a big mouth like all promoters does, but he's kind of young compared to and he got into the business and he's been talking a lot of smack, and I maligned him during the Anthony Joshua Deontay Wilder time, you know what I'm saying? But I've seen him, just talk for his fighters, right? But I'm going to tell you what he's been doing secretly. And I know he's not naive. I know he's doing. He just won't say it. That's what he's up to. But he's doing it, right? Eddie Hearn fights against American racism in boxing, right? Whether you believe it or not. And when my antenna went up, is way back about 5 years ago. I was like, when he signed Daniel Jacobs. Back then, I'm like, he signed Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs under the radar kind of guy. Good fighter, too. Danny Jacobs at that time had only lost that one fight to that dude who knocked him out or knocked him down and he couldn't really recover, right? That was the only time he had lost. I forget his name, with a P his name was. Good fighter from Eastern European. But Eddie Hearn signed him. And then I'm like, damn. And then Eddie Hearn got Daniel Jacobs that Gennady Golovkin fight, which, matter of fact, Quiet kept going look at that fight. Daniel Jacobs won that fight, by the way. He didn't get the nod against Gennady Golovkin, but he sure made Gennady Golovkin look mortal on that day. And he got him a Canelo Alvarez fight, right? And against Canelo Alvarez, Dan Jacobs was in the fight, but what we got to do to brothers, you better let them hands go a little bit more. You ain't winning no close fights against these kind of guys. You got to beat them a little bit better than that. Unfortunately, but Dan Jacobs showed he was in there in the house. So I'm like, it was at a time where people ain't going to be signing no Daniel Jacobs and getting them no big fights, right? So I was like checking him out there. And then recently, when he signed Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney been through a lot of stuff, y'all. A lot of little stuff, that wasn't really cool. Like, for example, Ryan Garcia is your mandatory. No one forces Ryan Garcia to fight him. They make up the franchise title, wouldn't let him fight Lomachenko. Lomachenko was able to fight Teofimo Lopez and take the franchise title, which we all know is egregious because it's not there anymore. Nobody even mentions it. If it wasn't Teofimo Lopez's fight against Claggart, that's the first time I heard franchise again. Right? But ain't nobody talking about that because it was egregious. It was a piece of doo-doo, was that. And anyway, so, they made that up. He couldn't get that. And then when the only thing was to become undisputed, when Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, Kambosos was trying to fight Lomachenko, but he just couldn't. So then he had to fight Devin Haney, and Devin Haney had to take a ridiculous deal to go to Australia to fight Kambosos. But here's where Eddie Hearn comes in. Eddie Hearn had him under contract. He let him get out of the contract and sign for Top Rank for those two fights. Who does that? Not stopping Devin Haney from achieving something great. I'm like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Knowing that he could have just said, no, you can't get out the contract, and America would have been with him anyway because they were hating on Devin Haney. We're seeing that now. My brother just got beat up by somebody who's doped, and everybody's on the other guy, the dope guy's side. So Devin Haney is one of those Negro League fighters who sits up at the front table. He ain't just one of them out there. He's sitting up at the front table with Demetrius Andrade and Lewis the Real King Kong Ortiz and them at the front table, right? So he's one of them. The dude let him get out the contract. I'm just saying, that's the kind of stuff you don't see. Now, recently, we even saw the reconciliation with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder ain't looking all that great right now, but to see Eddie Hearn talk for Deontay Wilder for a while, wasn't it great to see? Right? Deontay Wilder's a Negro League fighter. Probably ain't sitting at the front table, but he's right up there in the front row. Eddie Hearn, another American fighter, brother. Now here's another Negro League who came in, Shakur Stevenson. Eddie Hearn is rumored to be wanting to sign Shakur Stevens as soon as he gets out of that contract with Bob Arum. Shakur Stevenson, like most brothers that are elusive, much maligned, and can be called boring, right? Like, you know when it gets bad, because when they could call Floyd Mayweather boring, like they would say that Floyd Mayweather is boring, like his whole career. Like, did y'all ever watch Pretty Boy Floyd? And Floyd Mayweather, when he got old, just watch an old man not be able to get hit. But we can call Lomachenko old. He's younger than Floyd Mayweather was when he beat Patty Pacquiao and barely got hit. And it was like 2 years older than Lomachenko when he was able to fight Andre Berto in his last fight. Andre Berto in his last fight, and people was outraged that he fought Andre Berto in his last fight. But Teofimo Lopez is in his prime right now and fought Steve Claggart. I'm just by the way. The point is, your boy's trying to sign Shakur Stevenson, the one that they call boring, the one that's everybody, he's just beating everybody up, and everybody know he's the best fighter, probably one of the best in the world right now. But he's American. So they're going to say he can't sell. He's boring because he don't stand there. And he stands in the pocket. You would think he runs around. Stands in the pocket. He hits you, but you don't hit him back. But because America wants to see BTBG and his face ain't getting bashed in, then we're going to call him boring. Eddie Hearn has come out and just said he's promoted wrong. I'm sick of it. Right? Just sick of it. He's promoted wrong. I'm going to try to sign him. I'm just saying. And he's already signed Boots Ennis, who I haven't been called a Negro League fighter because he was new and everything like that. But, when you could tell that he's on the cusp of becoming a Negro League fighter, Boots Ennis, how you can notice? Notice they only want Boots Ennis to fight Terrence Crawford. Right? He's been parallel universe as Virgil Ortiz. Probably the same age, same time they've been fighting, same division all the whole time. And Virgil Ortiz over there with 20-0 with 20 knockouts. But no one is telling Virgil Ortiz to fight Boots Ennis. Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz, which is the obvious fight. We're going around that. No, we want him just to fight Terrence Crawford. Instead of Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz get some belts and something, and Terrence Crawford will be knocking at your door. Everybody knows that, but just know. So when you see that they don't want him to fight the best Mexican guy, Virgil Ortiz, which is obvious fight, it just makes no sense that we don't even talk about it. No, just Terrence Crawford and nothing else. See what I'm saying? That's when you can realize he's on his way to being a Negro League fighter. So that's what I'm just saying. So just keep your eye on Eddie Hearn. I mean, he's much maligned. A lot of people that we maligned, you see them, they turn into something different than what you be saying. Not just Eddie Hearn. I could say it's a little other name. Tim Bradley, standing up for stuff that we didn't think he was because we was calling him one of those animals that I ain't gonna even say. Parley Malignaggi, we call him racist. He stands up for all kind of stuff. Carl Froch stands up for stuff, right? All these people get much maligned, but they stand up to stuff. Right? Maybe it's just not your opinion every time, but they stand up for stuff. So when they stand up for stuff, make sure that you recognize it. So when they're not on your side, doesn't necessarily mean they're this or that or this. But we need them to stand up for stuff that's helping boxing. Those kind of names are in there. Eddie Hearn, much maligned. I didn't like him much, because he was on the other side of a couple of things, just basically anti-Joshua. And right now, he said, Maginov gonna beat Terrence Crawford. Why wouldn't he? He promotes him, and I'll do an extra video on that of how he feels about that. But with Maginov's amateur record of 350 fights, just 20 losses, you getting up in Lomachenko area, Guillermo Rigondeaux area, and David Morrell kind of stuff like that. These fighters that are, awesome. They don't need that many pro fights. We know damn well how good they are. And he's bigger and elusive than Terrence Crawford. So Terrence Crawford does not have no easy fight here. And I'm glad it's not easy. We're not going to call this guy easy. Not before and damn sure not after the fight. Magimov is the goods. And I said it a long time ago. Majimov versus Canelo or anybody Canelo's fought recently, what's up, right? So at the end of the day, I just wanted to make sure this is clear. Eddie Hearn, continues to fight against American racism in boxing. You know why? Because he's not American. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.